feet, what do I need you for when I have wings to fly? Words spoken by the infamous Mexican artist Frida Kahlo. She was a woman of many trades with a beautiful soul, and her writings in her journal would transform into the colorful, profound paintings that she created. I want to inform others of Frida's life and how it transformed her into the artist she became, how the love of her life, Diego Rivera, would support her artistry, and how the bus accident led her into her paintings, and how the loss of Diego will lead her into painting some of her most infamous pieces. Growing up, my mother kept paintings of Frida Kahlo in the house, and she also taught me about her life, which led me to fall in love with painting itself. I've read many texts on Frida Kahlo and have seen the movie Frida many times. Frida has influenced me on so many things, not only with art, but she also taught me about my self-worth, for she was a very strong feminist for that time. Everyone loves art, whether it's music, animations, or paintings. Our lives are affected by it. Art is an expression of emotion, and in a sense, it releases those emotions into the universe. Art has the power to transform our moods and to speak to us in a way that words cannot, and Frida Kahlo had a way of speaking to our pains and to our sufferings. She spoke also to the beauties of life and told a story that we can all relate to. I will discuss Frida's childhood, her accident, the love of her life, her political activism and Mexican culture, and pride, the struggles of her marriage and her death. Frida was born in Mexico City in her house famously titled La Casa Azul. Her mother's name was Matilde Gonzalez and her father's name was Guillermo Kahlo. Her parents were often sick due to bad health, and her father was a photographer who loved to paint in his spare time. She also had a younger sister named Cristina. At the age of 6, Frida became very sick due to polio and made one leg always smaller and skinnier than the other. She was bullied at school for it, and it made her very introverted. September 17, 1925 would be a day that would change her life for forever. It would be the day that she got into her bus accident, which led her to fracture many of her ribs, her collarbone, and also an iron handrail impaled her through her pelvis. She spent many months in recovery, and in this time she had much boredom. Her father then gave her a canvas and some of his paintings, and her misfortune led her into her passions. Shortly after she could walk, she went to go visit her well-known artist, Diego Rivera. Diego was a womanizer, but she began a relationship with him anyways, and they fell in love and got married at a town hall. Their marriage was known as a love between a dove and of an elephant. She drew many pictures of him in her at this time, one titled, The Love Embrace of the Universe, the Earth, Myself, Diego, et Señor Éxito. Diego would become Frida's greatest advisor and her greatest influence for her art. Frida was also a member of the Mexican Communist Party, and she loved to speak her opinion and march and protest. These views were heavily influenced by her husband, Diego. She even helped to hide exiled Marxist Leon Trotsky, and it is said that they had an affair while he stayed at La Casa Azul. Frida Kahlo's trips to the U.S. also encouraged these communist beliefs because it made her notice the broad contrast between the rich and the poor's lifestyle, and it also influenced her art. She created one piece titled My Dress Hangs There, showing her anger, and also What the Water Gave Me. Frida was also known as a feminist at the time and used those paintings to display the struggles of Mexican women at the time. She also grew an interest in Mexican folk art, which led into some of her my personal favorites, such as Moses, Roots, and the Two Fridas. Like I said, Diego was a womanizer, and their marriage was highly dysfunctional. He would have many affairs, and eventually Frida stopped caring that he slept with other women. But when he slept with her younger sister, Cristina, Frida had enough and left him. She became a deeply sad and drunk, And the portrait that best describes this is the self-portrait with cropped hair. A little over a year later, they did remarry and fell back in love, but they stayed living separately. Even though the houses were next to each other and there was a small bridge where they could visit, they were never that happy ever again. But they did stay together until her death. And Frida Kahlo died on July 13, 1954, at the age of 47, leaving the words, "I hope the leaving is joyful, and I hope never to return." Frida's life was one of many great lessons and stories. Her pain transformed her art into something everyone can relate to. And her life shows us how it leads us into surprising destinations from our paths. From her childhood to the bus accident, her marriage to Diego Rivera, her political views in Mexican pride, as well as the struggle of her marriage, led her into her paintings and led her to become the legacy that she is today. For this, I used Herrera Jardin's biography of Frida Kahlo, Frida Kahlo's religion political views from the website The Hollowverse, as well as the Frida Kahlo movie.